What's happening, gang? It's your boy Retro back again with another reaction video. Yeah. Today we got another update and a huge backfire coming from that corrupt district attorney over in the state of New York, Mr. Alvin Bragg, as we're now seeing his case flipping and turning upside down on his head after this latest update and development. Testimony coming out exposing his plans, revealing why he really is coming after Donald Trump and the fashion that he is and who is putting up to it. I'm excited to get an update and see this testimony that is foiling his plans. We're gonna get straight into the clip and I'll get my thoughts on the back end, guys. Definitely sticking around to the end so I get my thoughts on the back end. And also, YouTube, push this video out. Definitely stick around until the end, you guys. But yeah, let's get straight into the clip. Before we do that though, make sure you guys hit that like button for me and also hit that subscribe button as we're on the road to the truth. Hop aboard for the journey. Let's get into it, y'all.
This was posted by Jim Jordan on Twitter, and it has clips of this Pomerantz guy who was the guy before Alvin Bragg, and it shows how far back the corruption in New York is, specifically trying to target Trump. This guy's greasy, who won't answer questions, but you can just see how guilty he is just by the way he conducts himself. Welcome to Doug in Exile. This is where the happy patriots are. Let's watch the hatchet man, the think tank, the big boss that really came up with all of this get Trump stuff before Alvin Bragg came along.
How long have you known Alvin Bragg?
Same answer.
Fifth Amendment?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you respect Alvin Bragg?
Same answer.
He takes the Fifth Amendment. That is, he has a right to not incriminate himself. He has a right to, he doesn't have to speak. You can't pull a confession out of someone. But it speaks volumes, and he already wrote a book that they're going to hang him on later. We'll get quotes from that book too. Mark Pomerantz, he's a former New York County Special Assistant DA. Pomerantz led the effort to develop a case against President Trump. Pomerantz abruptly resigned shortly after District Attorney Alvin Bragg took office. So once Alvin Bragg came in, he goes, my services are no longer needed here. The question is why? Because Pomerantz believed Alvin Bragg didn't file charges against President Trump fast enough. That's one of the things that we criticize him on now. Why did they wait so long? This guy was pushing. Pomerantz was before Alvin Bragg came along. He was furious that he waited too long. Pomerantz's book, The People versus Donald Trump, an inside account, details his obsession with finding something to pin on President Trump. Congress has a, now this is about Jim Jordan's job. Congress has a specific and important interest in protecting politically motivated prosecutions of current and former presidents by elected state and local prosecutors because they don't want to undermine the vote of the people. Pomerantz appeared before the House Judiciary Committee. He declined to answer most of their questions.
Frequently did you go to the office when you were a special district attorney? Did you have an office physically at that address?
The office is located in several buildings around One Hogan Place. It's not all in one contiguous space of offices. There were several office premises. Having clarified that, I'm not going to answer your question about how often I was physically at the offices of the Manhattan District Attorney.
Had your own desk there?
Again, I'm not going to respond to your question.
On the basis of what?
On the basis of the fifth paragraph of my statement. Conveniently, Mr. Castor, the fifth paragraph relates to the Fifth Amendment.
Yeah, he's going to take the Fifth Amendment defense on how many times he went and visited Alvin Bragg's office. Well, we all know the answer, because if it was 0, he'd have said none. Or if it was a reasonable answer, he'd have said a couple times. But because he was probably living in Alvin, I'll stretch, I'll make a speculation. I think he probably practically lived there. I think he practically slept in Alvin Bragg's office. They probably ate every meal together. They probably stayed up all night making plans on how to get Trump. You know, I'm allowed to fill in the gaps. That's what I think.
Since you've left the employ of the Manhattan VA, do you use email as a method of communication?
I decline to answer your question.
And who's your current email provider?
I decline to answer that question as well.
On the Fifth Amendment, Brad?
Yes, sir.
Well, the FBI, which is too busy shaking down small churches and pro-lifers, hunting down journalists, can't come up with going after a guy that's trying to prosecute a president and overturn election results of us, of our duly elected president. This guy, they won't go after his emails. Wrong party. Hopefully they'll subpoena them.
Who's your current cell phone provider?
Likewise, I refuse to answer that question on the basis of my rights under the 5th Amendment.
Okay, so a lot of that. Let's get back to his book. This is Pomerantz's book on the people versus Donald Trump. The following video contains excerpts from Pomerantz's book and his deposition. It shows quotes from Pomerantz's book and his responses when we asked him about the quotes in a printed book. We got them. Quote, as I tossed and turned, I asked myself whether he had done everything we could, whether we had done everything we could to convince Alvin Bragg to let us bring our case against Trump. I kept thinking that maybe we were being rash. So that's the plan.
You since come to a decision to revise that conclusion?
I decline to answer.
Yeah, and they're laughing. He looks over at his lawyer. Look at this. Here's the hand signal for it. Take the 5th, dummy. Don't say a thing. You'll incriminate yourself. Would have been cool if he threw out another amendment. He could have done like, and really, really confused his client. Here's when I joined the Trump investigation, I got countless emails and telephone calls from friends and colleagues urging me to, quote, get him, unquote, and wishing me luck. That's probably from Biden, Kamala Harris, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, Merrick Garland, right?
I acknowledge writing the book, but I'm not going to expand beyond what is contained in the book for the reasons reflected in my opening statement.
Did they really say go get him?
Again, Mr. Chairman, I'm not going to respond beyond what is printed in the book.
Did they not say go get him?
I'm not going to answer your question.
Yeah, I'll say he's not going to answer anything. His book answers everything you need to know. That this was a witch hunt. Way before Alvin Bragg came along, they were talking about it and planning it. He's not going to reveal any names of the people that planned it because it's probably all of the Biden campaign setting this whole thing out, maybe even George Soros, maybe even the secret weird funding of where it's coming from. But this is a cool exposition of this dark character. You're not going to find much about him without a subpoena, without pulling those records out, because he knows to keep it tight. These are innocent, normal questions, and he doesn't want to give you any information, even when the answer is pretty obvious, guys. This guy, I think, gave everything away. What do you think in the comments below? Do you think he's a straight shooter?
Yo, there we have it, guys. Coming from our friend Doug in Exile. I'll definitely be sure to leave that original video link down in the description box below for those of you want to go over there and check that out. Also, you guys to go over there and show our friend Doug a bit of love. Oh my goodness, guys. The roots of this disgusting charade case, guys, this evil case being brought about by this corrupt district attorney is now showing. We can see that this thing runs way deeper, or stems deeper than, DA Alvin Bragg and this corrupt judge Juan Merchan. The two alone did not create or bring about this case against Donald Trump. Guys, it looks like we have a completely different factor or entity. We've got, Mark Pomerantz, who was the ex-district attorney, ex-assistant district attorney over there in the state of New York, guys. And we can see that, he is the one who truly has this, vendetta against Donald Trump, want to bring about this political persecution and charade case against our president, Donald Trump. We could clearly see through Mark Pomerantz's testimony right there that he is not going to, bend or fold, as far as, giving evidence to the other side about his corruption. He is going to, take it to the grave with him in a sense, if he can. You have to go at him with subpoenas in order to get any information or any details. He does not move like we've seen that district attorney over in Fulton County, Georgia, Fani Willis move. You know, we've seen her be very sloppy with the way she has, you know, brought about the charade case and political persecution against Donald Trump, and she has had to pay for it. But I'm not sure that this will be the same case with this guy Mark Pomerantz. He seems like he means business. I mean, this guy Mark Pomerantz essentially constructed the blueprint, you know, that was the cases to go after Donald Trump. He handed over to, you know, this district attorney Alvin Bragg in order to, you know, kind of pass the torch or the baton over to him. I'm not 100% convinced that Alvin Bragg stepped on his toes by the way he was not, you know, persecuting Donald Trump fast enough or bringing about these cases. I believe that, you know, Mark Pomerantz wanted to distance himself from these cases, from these political persecutions of Donald Trump. So he resigned from that spot after he, you know, passed the torch to Alvin Bragg. I mean, with that tactic, it would kind of, you know, eliminate a little bit of the political or personal interest in this case, you know, going after Donald Trump. Whereas, you know, Mark Pomerantz, you know, wrote a book about how he wants to go after Donald Trump. So he's kind of conflicted, and all, you know, tell signs would point to his case of being conflicted. And he wouldn't be able to, you know, build a strong case against Donald Trump. But Alvin Bragg, on the other hand, someone who gives a more neutral front-facing look to those on the left, you know, to bring about this dead case against Donald Trump and, you know, stringing him along. So what we have here is essentially a Manchurian district attorney being strung along like a puppet by, you know, an ex-assistant district attorney. You know, he's giving him the roadmap to how to get Donald Trump, how to take him down with this charade case. You know, this case was dead in the water, you know, upgrading this misdemeanor to a felony. And it just all seems so strange and, you know, pointed towards the, you know, political interests within this case. And that's what everybody's been saying. You know, even had figures from the left, you know, speaking out on this case being brought about this corrupt district attorney Alvin Bragg, and then to be, you know, gagging Donald Trump also. I feel like, you know, this is also moves being given by, you know, this Pomerantz character. He's giving, you know, orders not only to DA Alvin Bragg, but also to that Judge Juan Merchan. I feel like he is, you know, running point on this whole case. And now we just seen all of his plans being exposed and revealed. You know, he is blatantly, you know, bringing about this case political nature only. He wants to take down Donald Trump. I mean, this guy has wrote a book about the people versus Donald Trump, you know, saying that all Americans should, you know, want Donald Trump behind bars. And he would, you know, nothing would make him happier than to see this guy Donald Trump behind bars. So we can see why he wants to bring about, you know, these charade cases and political witch hunts against the man. I mean, this is what he does. This is what he lives for. And, you know, to get Alvin Bragg and that corrupt Judge Juan Merchan on board was icing on the cake for him. Guys, definitely hop in the comment section and let me know your thoughts on this one. Does this further, you know, add more confusion to this case and more, you know, reason for this whole thing to be tossed out? Now we've got, you know, another entity, you know, the boss and point man being exposed, who's really pressing the buttons and stringing these, you know, rogue justice along. We just seen Mark Pomerantz being exposed as the point man for this whole charade case being brought about by DA Alvin Bragg and that Judge Juan Merchan. Guys, definitely hop in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts. Do you guys think this changes anything? Also, make sure you guys hit that share button and share this out to as many Facebook friends as possible, guys. Share the truth. Also, make sure you guys hit that like button. It doesn't cost one thing. Hit that like button for your boy. And also hit that subscribe button as we're on the road to the truth. Hop aboard for the journey. I'll catch you guys on the next one. We go.